Welcome again. Welcome to the live stream. I hope to read all of your questions, all of your opinions. Tell me what you think about the market. How are you feeling right now? Are you getting angry at the market? Are you getting really excited about the market? Are you super bored? Because many people are super bored at the moment because we have literally been going sideways in this tiny little range for the last 6 months nearly. I think it is 6 months because it started in March. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, super boring. But before that, we had a nice 100% rise from the bottom, which was at 15K. And 15K seems to be a nice bottom and a nice potential long-term bottom for this whole cycle. This cycle meaning the 4-year cycle, because Bitcoin, as we know, likes to do these 4-year cycles, which are primarily driven by the halving event, the big halving event that we've all heard of, and everyone is discussing, everyone that is in crypto, for good reason, of course, because it is a big event and it runs the market in a big way. So, and just to give you an overview of why we are all such big fans of Bitcoin, because on a chart, in general, it really likes to go to the right and to the higher levels. So even though short term it might do some big dips as well, but as you can see, it generally likes to go up, which is nice to see. And that is what you want to see from your currency, from your money, unlike some other fiat currencies, as we know. So welcome again. My name is Martin, and I'll be your host tonight. I am the resident crypto specialist in Blocktrade. Maybe you've seen some of my short videos, or maybe some of my longer educational videos on YouTube, TikTok, and all of our other Blocktrade social medias. If not, go check them out. I try to do very condensed and very informative small videos to help you make sense of the crypto market and to help you make as much money from the crypto market as possible. Because knowledge is power. So the more knowledge you have about the market, the better your decisions will be. All right, so let's move on. Let's discuss. Let's see what's happening in crypto Twitter. We have a nice little pump in October. Some people are already calling it Uptober. The crypto folks, crypto Twitter folks like to call this Uptober because in the past as well, October has been generally a very good month for the markets and for Bitcoin. So this is what the average crypto fanatic looks like at the moment. Let's have a sip of coffee. Riding to a 3% pump. So yeah, not much to write home about. 3% is very small in the crypto world. It might be in the traditional financial world, but here we like 50% pumps and 100% pumps. But you get what you take what you're given. So 3%, 3.8%, cool. Let's see what the altcoins are doing. Tell me, what are your favorite altcoins? Write in the comment section, write in the chat. Tell me your favorite altcoins. Give me 2 or 3 at least. And I hope some of you have some Solana, maybe some of you have some Matic, meaning you've made some good money in the last week. So congratulations to those. And of course, let's hope that this pump continues. Let's hope that this October continues, But for now, I wouldn't get too excited, because if we look at the chart, this is just a sideways market all in all. So just to put it in context, this is the range I am talking about. So we have the 25,000 and the 30,000 level, and we're just in between that. So as long as we don't break this range, there is actually no reason to get super excited. But if you get a 3.8% pump, perfect. Still money in the bank. So yeah, all in all, some altcoins are looking quite nice. And what I wanted to briefly go over is, maybe some of you have seen, this is called the Wall Street cheat sheet. And this is the cheat sheet for emotions in the market, and it is super powerful. So even the best and the most experienced traders, they are still emotional. But the trick is to understand where you are in your emotions, what emotions are you feeling, and then because this is quite universal. People are still people, we are still human, and we still feel the same emotions regardless of how long you've been in the markets or how much you've worked in Wall Street. So if you just really try to understand where you are in terms of your emotions in this market, then you can look at this chart and you can put it in context. So are you euphoric in the market right now? Are you using your profits to buy new cars and houses, because this is what euphoria would look like? I imagine not, because we are not in that part yet in the cycle. But this is a cycle, make no mistake, and cycles keep repeating. So just something to keep in mind. But this is generally how the market cycle looks, and it's so funny because if you look at any chart in the world, any altcoin, any stock, any crypto, Bitcoin, whatever, they generally have very similar cycles. And you can literally overlay the chart with this chart. It's amazing. I urge you to do it at home. So yeah, if you put it in context, are you feeling disbelief? Are you in disbelief of this rally? Like we had a rally from 15,000 to 30,000. Are you in disbelief and thinking, this rally will fail like the others? As we can see here, disbelief, this rally will fail like the others. So this is my theory at the moment, that the market is around that level of emotion. After that generally comes hope, where we see another rise in the market. People start getting hopeful, people start getting interested in the market again. Then the market goes a bit higher. We have optimism, this rally is real. Then people really start piling in. People start telling their friends, their family. Then market pumps some more. We have belief. And then people start making the mistake of getting fully invested. Then we have thrill. I will buy more on margin. Margin meaning you borrow money. I definitely urge anyone not to trade or not to invest borrowed money. That is not the way to do it. So we have thrill, where people are going all in and taking out loans to buy even more of the asset. And then we have this, what is called a blow-off top, which generally comes with the emotion of euphoria, a big wave of euphoria. People are spending and talking, oh my god, this is so amazing, looking at new Ferraris and taking them to test drives and stuff. So yeah, this is where you want to get out generally, but it's gonna be hard because your emotions are gonna be euphoric. So just to do a quick check of where you are in your own emotions. And then we have complacency, we have a drop, and people are still fully invested, still believing in the asset, and then it starts to drop. Anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation. Capitulation is where people are completely out of the market, they are giving up, they've lost all their life savings, followed by anger. How could they do this? How can this be legal? The government should do something about this. And then we have a nice little bottoming, and then we start a new cycle. So just try to put it in context. It's very interesting, and it's such a powerful tool to be a good investor. And yeah, as I said before, my theory is that we are now coming out of depression. We have had a 100% rally in Bitcoin, and people are still in disbelief. They're like, this rally will fail. It's just 100% rally. It's nothing. And everyone is still like anti-crypto kind of. But that's just my theory. Try to look inside yourself, see what you are feeling in terms of the market, and let me know as well, right in the comment section. All right, let's move on. I saw someone wanted the e-credits chart, so let me just check if we have e-credits. Not much history here, so in terms of technical analysis, there's not much to say actually. It just basically retested the bottom, took out the bottom. Like this is what is generally referred to as a stop hunt or a swing failure pattern, where you take out the low, the previous low, and yeah, if we just overlay the Wall Street cheat sheet, then we could speculate that it is in fact the capitulation part of the cycle. But this chart doesn't have enough history to make any conclusive decisions. So anyway, let's move on. What I really wanted to focus on actually is the halving event, the big event. So just to quickly get you up to speed on the Bitcoin halving, this is a nice chart. It focuses on the halvings and the cycle bottoms. And as you can see, Bitcoin has been super cyclical and super repetitive. There is a huge rise, then we have the cycle bottom, and then we have the halving. So cycle bottom, we have a nice gradual rise up until the halving, and then boom, we go parabolic. Absolutely crazy. And what the halving means is simply the miners who are confirming Bitcoin transactions and who are getting rewarded by block rewards where they get Bitcoin. And back here, like back in 2012, the block reward was actually 50 Bitcoin per block. So you mine a block, you get 50 Bitcoin. Pretty awesome. But the price also was like a couple of dollars. Anyway, then we have a strong rise, which doesn't last long. It tops out, and then we go gradually into a bear market again. We have the cycle bottom, and then again, it takes around a year or a year and a half, and then we have the halving again. So this is a 4-year cycle. And after the halving is where the real parabolic rise happens. You see this? So the green line is the halving, and boom, we have a parabolic run, massive run, from $800 up to $20,000. Pretty insane. I remember that. That was amazing. I made a lot of money with this move. But yeah, as you can see, it's very cyclical. And then we top out and we go into another cycle. And this reflects very nicely in the psychology, the cheat sheet part as well. So each cycle has these same emotions. I hope you realize and understand that, because it's very powerful. And then we go into a gradual bear market. We have the cycle bottom around a year later from the top, January 2017 to February 2019, so that's 2 years. Then we have the cycle bottom. We start the gradual rise, nothing too crazy. We gradually rise up to the halving event, and then boom, we follow up with a massive move again. Short, but massive. And then we had the recent top of 69,000, I believe. And now we have the cycle bottom. I would argue the cycle bottom was the 15,000 level. And now we're doing the gradual rise again up until the halving event, which is scheduled to be next year, March, I believe. It's not a fixed date, so it's probably late March, early April. This is what the projections say at the moment. And so what happens at the halving is when back here we had 50 Bitcoin per block for miners, then came the halving event, and then it was cut in half. So they were now making 25 Bitcoin per block. And of course, they have electricity cost, the miners, and the miners also have the devices to buy and to invest in and to keep upgrading to be competitive in the mining space. And so they of course need to make some money out of it. And this in turn runs up the price, because the miners are not willing to sell their freshly minted, their freshly mined Bitcoin unless the price is higher. So they hold on until it makes sense. And the market always regulates in this fashion. And of course, if the supply is cut in half, because new Bitcoins are not flooding the market anymore, only half of the previous Bitcoins are now coming into the market, then of course price will start to rise. So this is kind of anti-inflationary. So we have the dollar and the euro and the fiat currencies which are inflationary. We keep printing more of them. But Bitcoin, we keep printing less of them. So now we are back here. It was 25 Bitcoin. Back here it was 12.5. Back here it was now the mining reward was already cut in half again. So we are now currently at 6.5, I believe, 6.5. Or 6.25, and now we are going to be cutting the supply in half again. So miners will, after next year's halving, will only get 3 and a bit Bitcoin per block, which means there's gonna be a inflationary drop again. So the inflation will roughly be 1%. And if you compare that to the current fiat system, the dollar system, the euro, then you realize that this is just a better system, because we are currently in pretty much hyperinflation in the dollar and the euro terms. As you can see, your gas prices and your electricity bills and your food prices, they're all up like 20-25% over year. And this is what makes the halving event very special, and this is what makes crypto and Bitcoin very special. It's because it's kind of deflationary. Makes sense? If not, ask some questions, let me know. All right. I wanted to show you a quick article from JP Morgan. JP Morgan is of course the biggest bank in America, and they also see this. They see the potential. The last 2 halvings led to a rally in Bitcoin's price. The 24 halving seems well on track to continue this trend, as the report claims that a halving would mechanically double Bitcoin production cost to around $40,000, because the miners are still spending their machines and they're spending electricity. So mining costs go up, and inevitably the price will go up, creating a positive psychological effect. Make sense? And this is not me telling you. This is JP Morgan, the biggest bank in America. That's pretty powerful if you ask me. Anyway, I have a few more topics to talk about. I wanted to quickly actually go over the presidential election, not because I want to talk politics, I definitely do not, but I think my prediction is that crypto will be one of the main topics in the US presidential elections. And of course, whatever US does, it kind of affects Europe, and Europe tends to adopt the same policies after some time. That's just what usually happens. So I went ahead and checked some polls and wanted to see what the candidates' positions were in terms of crypto. And of course, Trump still polling super high. Trump used to be anti-crypto. Like 2019, he said that he would like to see the dollar being the dominant currency. But we have actually seen articles claiming that where was it? Trump's Ethereum wallet holds 2.8 million. So he has a nice Ethereum bag, and he also released his NFT collection, which he made like 5 million with. So he's actually pretty crypto savvy, or at least his team is. But of course, officially he has been anti-crypto. Let's see. He's kind of on the fence, the way I see it. And people have been claiming that it wouldn't be hard to convince him to be pro-crypto. Biden, of course, we know is currently very anti-crypto, and his cabinet is super anti-crypto. Of course, with Gary Gensler in front, the leader of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, who is constantly suing every crypto company that happens to get in his way. But there are very interesting candidates from both sides. One of them being Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, let's call him Vivek. So this is a quick interview with Vivek on crypto. Listen to this.
Bitcoin, which you're the first GOP candidate to take Bitcoin. What went into that decision?
So look, I think that the financial system, people who run the current financial system, are insecure if they are against competition to that existing dollar. So I want to stabilize the dollar as a unit of measurement. I've said that for a long time. It's one of my top objectives of Federal Reserve reform. But that doesn't mean that I shy away from alternative currencies like Bitcoin. It means we embrace the competition because that makes us better. So the best way to send that signal was to say that, you know what, we will accept donations to the campaign via Bitcoin, via the Lightning Network, and we're happy to do that because we are, I think, self-confident about our ability to restore the value of the dollar if we're not stifling competition.
And obviously, Forbes, we talk a lot about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and all sorts of digital assets. But one thing I think that is really interesting is you attended a cryptocurrency event just a couple of weeks ago and discussed some of this stuff. What do you think you will do when you, if and when you take office, to address some of the regulations around cryptocurrency?
So I think that we first need to get the SEC out of the business of regulating, for example, Bitcoin as a form of a security. This current securities law regime, I think, is itself broken and in need of radical.
So he's obviously realized also that Gary Gensler and the SEC is way out of line, which is true. And he seems to be pretty pro-crypto, if you ask me. And the reason why I think crypto will be one of the main topics in the coming presidential election in US is because it represents true freedom. And we've seen nations trying to push CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, which give them all of the control over your money. And this is what people are starting to realize, that Bitcoin is representing true freedom of money, to be able to have a completely neutral type of money, which is accepted everywhere and is being able to use everywhere, unlike the dollar, which has become such a political tool and a weapon. It's been weaponized. So like, if we don't like what you're doing in your country, then we're not gonna allow you to trade in dollar or so on. But if we're talking about a true true global money, then you want it to be as neutral as possible, right? And if we look at the polls again, this is the Republican candidates, but if we look at the Democratic candidates, well, Biden, of course, but then we have Kennedy, JFK's niece, I believe. So he is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., son of Robert F. Kennedy, who was also in US politics. And he has the deep understanding of why Bitcoin is important. And he's even talking on Bitcoin conferences and stuff. So take a quick listen of this.
First, I will defend the right of self-custody of Bitcoin and other digital assets. You should be able to own your own private keys the same as you own the keys to your car or own your wallet. Your wallet, whether it's in your pocket or in your computer, is your own. I don't think the government has the right to demand access to your Bitcoin key or indeed any of your passwords. To say otherwise is to cede essential territory to the surveillance state. Second, I will uphold the right to run a node at home.
So as you can see, he deeply understands that Bitcoin is freedom money, and everyone needs to be able to hold their own money, control their own money without any middlemen, and that is very refreshing. And unfortunately, RFK hasn't gotten a lot of publicity in the mainstream media, but he has been visiting some of the world's most popular podcasters, and he has been getting a lot of traction through that. So let's see what happens. But whatever happens, Bitcoin will be talked about in the coming debates, and it will be discussed, and it's gonna be moving the markets. And if the election sways towards Biden, it's probably not gonna be as positive, but we'll see. But if the election sways towards Kennedy or Vivek or even Trump, then it might be a bit more positive. Let's see. Interesting times anyway. Quick interesting article I saw was Hong Kong and China's OTC markets remain active, and they are literally doing billions and billions of Bitcoin volume and crypto volume, which is interesting because we always hear like, oh, China is banning crypto and stuff, but they're only banning it for the little guy, for the average investor. But it's a very strict world, and for the elite, for the super rich, it's actually one of the main tools if they want to get their wealth out of China. So there is massive OTC meaning over the counter volume. So they're not using like regular exchanges, but they're using just like professional middlemen and doing like straight one-on-one transactions. So just an interesting bit of information there, that the OTC markets are heating up. The OTC meaning over the counter, not regular exchanges. And the reason is that people are more and more, they're starting to understand that these fiat currencies, this is a nice table shared by Michael Saylor, one of the biggest Bitcoin investors in the world. He was sharing that if you don't have access to the dollar, Bitcoin is a lifeline. So this is a list of different fiat currencies, global fiat currencies compared to the dollar. And as you can see, Venezuelan bolivar down 100%, Sudanese pound 99%, Syrian pound. So if you are living in any of these countries, your money is devaluing so fast that you can't even spend it fast enough. And for those people, Bitcoin can truly be a lifeline, because maybe they don't have access to dollars. And yeah, as you can see, this is quite grim. These are all fiat currencies. Might as well call them shitcoins, because they are completely down 70, 80, 90%. Best ones being like, I don't know, Iraqi dinar 11%, Swiss franc is only down 1%. So Swiss franc is, as we know, it's one of the best currencies, best fiat currencies. But everything else massively down. And this is not like compared to anything tangible. This is compared to the US dollar, which in itself isn't that hot, because this chart shared by the Rational Root, which is a nice little account on Twitter. Good information here, by the way. This is the money supply of the US dollar that we just compared the rest of the shitcoins to. And this as well is being printed into oblivion. Like, this is insane, especially considering the dollar has been devalued nearly 50% over the last 10 years, because they keep printing and keep printing. So if you keep printing something, it's gonna devalue, because the more there is, the less each dollar is worth. Simple equation. And this is Max Kaiser, also a huge crypto fanatic, and one of the earliest Bitcoin adopters that I know of. He was sharing this interesting chart yesterday, which is the total US debt hit a record 33 trillion, and it went 275 billion in one day. So this little jump is 275 billion. These numbers are getting so crazy, so insane, that we are literally, like, US dollar is literally entering into this insane time where it represents, or it reminds me of the Venezuelan bolivar and Sudanese pound and stuff like that, which are devaluing in rapid speed. So crazy times. Meanwhile, we have some court cases. Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX is finally in front of the court. Nothing too interesting about that, but it might bring some volatility into the market in terms of FTX selling their remaining coins and stuff like that. We'll see. I wouldn't put too much weight on that, but it's just interesting to know. Also, why are courts still painting pictures? Like, this doesn't even look like Sam Bankman-Fried. How about a photo? Makes no sense. Yeah, here you can see. This is Sam Bankman-Fried. This is, I don't know who this is. The drawing is awful. Anyway, let's move on. XRP. So this is our favorite regulator in the US. It's our favorite guy, Gary Gensler, who is now, he has lost a court case against Ripple and is now appealing this lost case, and he also lost that one. So one loss after another. Nice to see for crypto folks. And XRP did a little pump as well. Nothing too crazy though. But we are seeing the tide turning. So before, SEC really had the power to bring down the crypto market, but now everyone is just looking at him, looking at Gary Gensler and seeing him for what he is, which is very well put together, very well articulated by Tom Emmer from the Congress.
Goldman Sachs.
Listen to this. This is amazing.
I've done well since then too, sir. I'll take that as a yes as well. You described the SEC under your leadership as the cop on the beat watching out for our constituents. Correct?
I think that's a mandate that Congress.
Yeah, and I think you've said that, reclaiming my time. The answer is yes, sir. If you comply with what I've asked, I'd appreciate it. But given your 18-year career at one of the biggest banks in the world and the personal financial fortune you amassed there, do you think it's possible for you to serve as an impartial regulator and not favor large financial intermediaries?
Absolutely, sir.
Well, Mr. Gensler, do you believe the vast majority of digital assets meet the investment contract test and are therefore securities operating illegally outside of the U.S. regulatory umbrella?
As I've said, many of these assets are basically the public is anticipating
Sir, is that a
profits
yes?
based on the efforts of others.
Is the answer then yes?
Again, without prejudging anyone, I do think that The significant
Reclaiming my
majority
time.
are
I'll take it as a
investment
yes. And to be
contracts.
clear, sir, this perspective has nothing to do with a concern you noted in the speech last year where you said, quote, over the past year, several bank executives have shared their concerns with me about the sheer number of depositors who have moved money from their bank accounts into crypto-related exchanges and wallets, end quote. Right?
The concern that those bank executives raised was that there's.
Again, I'm reclaiming my time.
Customers were getting
No,
hurt.
I've asked you to answer the questions as short as I can so I can use the time I have, and it's clear that you would like to avoid answering the questions, in my opinion. An Obama-appointed judge in the Southern District of New York, a bank-friendly jurisdiction where you bring most of your cases, recently found that decentralized financial technology, quote, not only removes the so-called middlemen from these transactions, but it also allows users to interact through a variety of methods in an easy and efficient manner, end quote. The court also said underwriters like the ones at banks where you work, sir, are, quote, precisely the types of individual roles that decentralized exchanges were designed to eliminate, end quote. Mr. Gensler, can you assure this committee that your style of regulation by harassment towards digital asset innovation is to the benefit of every American and not driven by your desires to protect industry incumbents?
This is a field that's rife with fraud and manipulation, and I'm looking out for the American investors who've been hurt by the crypto.
Yeah, I'll reclaim my time. Mr.
scammer.
Gensler, despite your years of rhetoric, like today, I'm convinced you are not an impartial regulator. Instead, it's clear that you are working to consolidate your own power, even though it means crushing opportunities for everyday Americans and, frankly, the financial future of this country. Even the federal courts are highlighting the damage you, sir, are doing to our constituents, and they're telling you that you don't have the legal authority to accomplish your goal of squashing competition in the financial markets. Congress has been telling you that too. Now, Mr. Gensler, I believe our great financial system is the definition of freedom in this country. And congressional policies must provide room for the traditional financial system to evolve alongside the disruptive digital asset ecosystem. That said, it cannot be understated that a common theme throughout your career, sir, is your relentless loyalty to the largest financial institutions at the clear expense of innovation, competition, and everyday Americans. I yield back.
I suspect some large financial institutions will not agree with that.
There's no question, sir. I've yielded back my time.
Absolute mic drop. Amazing. Well done, Tom Emmer. So that was very nicely put. Everyone is now starting to understand that the SEC and Gary Gensler are not looking out for the average investor, not protecting, as they always say, oh, we are protecting. Yeah, they're not protecting, they're protecting the massive financial institutions instead. Anyway, as we can see, the tide is truly turning in terms of the government understanding of crypto as well. And Patrick McHenry becomes interim House Speaker, which means it's just temporary for now. But this is a win for crypto because Patrick McHenry, as you can read from this article, is a massive crypto proponent, another pro-crypto representative, McHenry, and also Tom Emmer as well, that we just saw. And they are now starting to move things in pro-crypto ways because the Speaker of the House is not just some random politician. The Speaker of the House is actually number 3. So President is the first, Vice President is the second, and Speaker is the third in terms of authority. So pretty awesome times. And yeah, I think we can start wrapping things up. Let's just take a quick look at the Bitcoin market so we know what we are expecting. And just to give you a quick summary, I am actually expecting some volatility to come in because of the news and of course because of the technicals, because technically we have been in a range with very low volatility for quite a long time. And as you can say from your own experience as well, if there are a lot of sunny days, like 2 weeks straight, it's nice and sunny and no wind, then you know that probably there is a storm right around the corner, and this is kind of the similar situation. I have this little indicator down here, which very simply shows us volatility. And as you can see, if we zoom all the way out, we take the whole crypto history, then these are the low levels of volatility. And low levels of volatility are usually right before massive moves. And generally, when volatility drops this low, we are actually getting a big pump up. But either way, it means if we are getting such low volatility, then we are getting high volatility right after. And this is just the way that the world works. Not just the markets, but like I said, the weather the same way. If you have too many nice days, there's a storm coming most likely. And this volatility is now exceptionally low, and it is bound to break out very soon. So I am expecting big volatility in October. Let's see if it's up, if it's down, maybe it's both, but either way, I think that the bottom for this cycle is in, and we are creeping towards the halving event, which is in early April or maybe late March. And up until then, I wouldn't expect too much of the crypto market, but once we get to the halving event, then history has shown that's when the fireworks start, and that's when big gains are made. So this is the calm before the storm. Make sure you educate yourself in the crypto market as much as possible. I will try to assist you with that as well. Check out our other block trade educational videos, and Martin signing out.